I hope you guys can hear this because I have had to rig this entire situation because I cannot use my normal setup. I don't know how to do it. My husband's not home, so I'm not even going to try anymore. Welcome to August Love Story, the channel. My name is Artieka. If you guys have been here before, then welcome back. If you haven't, welcome. Typically, I do reviews with my husband, but I've decided this season of Real Housewives of Potomac to go at it alone. So, I did episodes 1 and 2 earlier this week. I am now doing season 10, episode 3. That episode is called Chin Check. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. So, we started off this episode with Ashley working out in a wig. I was like, girl, cut the chase. You ain't doing nothing. This is for TV. Stacy was coaching her daughter in a pageant. And Stacy decided that she needed to make a big deal that her daughter doesn't know that she and her husband are back together. I guess that's Stacy's storyline for this season, is that she and her husband are back together. Wendy and Kay meet each other on the water. Kay said that they felt like they were TV friends. Wendy was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Then Kay stopped mid-conversation and asked about Preakness. Apparently, they are both doing the legwork to have an event for Preakness. I think we saw Preakness happen like 3-4 seasons ago, maybe. I guess it's like the Kentucky Derby, but for up there. Anyways, she asked about the two of them coming together to have an event, or if they want to do two separate events. And Wendy was like, absolutely not. I'm doing an event with the First Lady of Maryland. I don't have time for whatever you got going on, okay? Kay was like, moving on. So they started talking about Ashley's second bloom party and their interaction there. Kay said that she felt that Wendy was being very condescending with her. Wendy said that she felt like the whole conversation was juvenile and that Kay just isn't her friend. Kay told her that she was fake and she don't even like Gizelle because Wendy was making a big deal about the fact that she was having a conversation with Gizelle, and Kay kind of infiltrated that conversation to bring up their issues. And Kay was like, you don't even like her. And Wendy was like, you don't even like her. So, for the people that have been watching for a long time, we know that Gizelle has had a relationship of friendship with everyone, and then it turns into a I don't like her. We were sick of watching Gizelle and Wendy be at odds, and so they agreed last season to try to hash it out, be cool with each other. So Wendy and Gizelle are definitely TV friends. I guess Kay kind of fell into the mix of that too, but also, who really expected 37, 38, 39-year-old Kay to be friends with 54, 55-year-old Gizelle? It's just not a friendship, like, it's not equal. But whatever. Kay just said they feel like that they're just friends on the show. And Wendy doesn't want to have to hold her hand as her friend. She's basically like, we can be friends, but I don't want to have to like hold your hand and call you and text you for every move that I make. So they ended this with Wendy having a villain laugh and Kay giving her the middle finger. And then they walked off laughing into the distance. So they don't hate each other. They're not friends. They're merely what you would expect on a television show for women that don't like hang out with each other. Like, we're cool on camera. I don't have any issues with you, but don't call me. But let's also not say that we're friends when we know that we're not friends. So then we go to Angel's house. We're still getting introduced to Angel and Tia as far as their family dynamics and storylines and things that they have going on. So we know that Angel recently moved to the area. She's from there, but she just moved back. And it looks like her dad is living with them as well as her husband's parents are living with them. We do find out that her mom passed away 10 years ago. And she and her dad do a lot of reminiscing about her mom. Her husband and Bobby, her husband, and her tell a story of saying that her mom said that there was no shoes in the house and he didn't agree with it. And then she said that there was no windows open or anything, and just like basically like a gust of wind just blew papers off of the table. And he was like, oh no, I ain't going for that. So she was like, she felt like her mom was saying shoes do not belong on in the house, sir. Angel tells her family about the chin check. At the end of this episode, I think we dead the chin check, and I'm happy that we're deading the chin check because we've been chin checking for 3 episodes now. I told y'all that's my limit on story arcs, 3 episodes. She just says that she needs to talk to Kay about it because she feels disrespected. And I was like, she didn't tell Gizelle that she fought you. She just said that she had to check you on it. Y'all could... I don't get the semblance of what chin check means to them. I guess they feel like it's physical violence, but I'm really relating it like Kay did. Like, you said something I didn't like, and I said what I said about it. Like, it's cool. We're cool. But I let you know how I felt about it in the moment. And that's all you can do is listen to how I felt about it in the moment. Stacy met Jazzy for lunch. They talk about Mia ditching them in Miami. And then Stacy shares with her that she's working it out with her ex. This is Stacy's thing. For however many episodes, anybody that's going to listen is going to find out, hey, I am no longer getting a divorce. That is my man, my man, my man. And we figuring it out. Which I wish she would have just figured it out and left the TJ situation alone. Maybe her husband wasn't interested in filming the first season. And he's like, whatever we got to do. And he felt like TJ was no threat to him. So it is what it is. But Jazzy brought up that her grandparents got divorced and then ended up getting remarried and staying together for another 60 years. So it happens. We watched Nene and Greg go through that. I actually know a couple that have married and divorced. And they started entertaining the idea of dating each other again. And I was like, please stop. One of y'all is having issues with something that the other one is doing. And until y'all figure that out, y'all are just wasting it. Nobody's buying another gift. Nobody's buying any more wedding gifts. But Jazzy starts talking about her wedding plans, and then they go all out about Preakness. Of course, Jazzy's going to come to the event. Jazzy's a friend of the show again this season. They talk about Gizelle dating a man, and apparently he's a retired NFLer, and then they show his picture. I don't understand what this has to do with anything, because Gizelle and her personal dating life are not a storyline this season. I guess they're trying to make it a storyline to make her have to tell about what's going on in her personal life. But while Gizelle might be crazy on the show, Gizelle is also an attractive woman. So why wouldn't we think that she's dating? And why do we think that we need to know every man that she goes out to dinner with on the show? That's just weird. If you're a single woman on a reality TV show, I would never advise you to put all of the guys that you are dating or have dated on the show. It just doesn't make sense. So next we see Tia with her kids and her husband. We start talking about their typical teenage problems. Dad and mom both have something to do. They can have one friend over. One daughter wants to have 5 friends over. The other daughter is like, oh, that's not true. And it's just, this is our way of humanizing Tia, but also letting us know who Tia's, like how her family dynamic works. She goes outside and she sits with her husband, and they talk about her feeling overextended because of work. Apparently she's a real estate agent and she shows luxury properties. And she's like, I could have a full day of showing and then I get home and you guys are still expecting me to make dinner. And he's like, yeah, I had a rough day that day too. I get up earlier than you and I do all these things with the kids, and basically like the least you could do is make dinner. This is a tale as old as time. Um People in relationships with children oftentimes feels like one person is not doing enough, or they're doing more than the other person. Or even if they feel like it's equal, they feel like it's still a lot. Life is freaking overwhelming. Like, so overwhelming that sometimes you have to hire somebody to clean up for you, or negotiate for somebody else to come pick up the kids so that you guys aren't overextended. Like, that's a conversation my husband and I have had quite a few times, of feeling overextended and trying to figure things out. But I mean, what can you do? You can't quit your job. You can't, and I'm sure adding Real Housewives to her plate is overwhelming, because it's, while it's not clocking in to a 9 to 5, it's still work. Um they just got to figure out how to balance it all. Their kids are a little bit older, so they do have the capability to not have to like be running around changing diapers, pumping milk, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. So I think that if they have effective communication, they can figure this out. They might have to hire some help, but they can get this figured out. Gizelle and Tia go shopping, and Gizelle invited Tia and Wendy. Tia said Gizelle can't dress. That has been a running like statement for 10 seasons now. Like, I don't feel like we have to reiterate this every season, but Gizelle can't dress. Some of her looks are fine if she just takes off one, maybe two things. Later in the episode, Keiarna was like, Gizelle had on a 2-piece outfit, a fascinator, and a crinkle wig. And I'm like, yeah, if she had changed the wig and not done that fascinator, she could have been okay. I don't know. It's just, that's just Gizelle. We resolved that Gizelle can't dress. Gizelle is hosting a cash trip this year. I think it's to Nevis. She's inviting everyone. So Angel said this is going to be her first time away from the kids. And then they talk about Wendy and Angel going to college together and not ever partying with each other, because they, like, Angel was like, I don't really party, I don't really drink, but they were in college at the same time. And I get it. I went to a predominantly white school. The black population was very connected at our school. Granted, there was thousands of us there. There are people that I meet to this day, people that I'm actually close to now, like on the other side of college, that I did not hang out with in college, but we went to college together. We knew each other. We spoke to each other, but partying together was not a thing that we did. So I get it. Angel and Wendy have an aside, and they talk about her talk with Keiarna. Wendy says that all the problems are coming from Kay, and then Gizelle pops in and asks Angel if she and Kay are good because of the chin check. And Angel's just like, I have a problem with that language. And I actually wrote in my notes that reminds me of my husband. So I'm from Memphis, and in Memphis, fool is a term of endearment. Like, people say, what up, fool? And Tommy, the first time somebody said it to him, he was like, I'm not your fool, because it wasn't something that they did. So I guess I could use chin check, put that in the colloquialism box, and that's just something that they're gonna have to get over and stop talking about. But Angel did say that her and Kay aren't over the chin check yet, and it's crazy that she would use that language considering what happened to her, and she's referring to the assault by Deborah. Tia was shocked that there had been a physical altercation between Kay and somebody else. I was like, girl, you didn't watch this show before you joined the cast? Cause she looked like she was clutching her pearls. So we get to Kay's Preakness pre-brunch. So Greg was in the building for filming. I guess this was his way of like, I am supporting my woman. I am here, y'all. Hey. Her mom is also there. This is just for the event at the house. I think her mom and Greg were there to like clean up post brunch to make sure everything was, good to go. It was interesting though that her mom told her in episode 1 that she doesn't think Greg is for her, and then she called him Mr. Big to Keiarna's Carrie Bradshaw, and I'm like, Mr. Big wasn't good for Carrie either, but it is what it is. That was a toxic situation too, if we want to call a thing a thing. So Stacy shows up to the pre-brunch and she's talking to Greg and basically is like, why are you here? What you doing? And he was like, I'll be over here sometimes, and sometimes can't be at my house. She was like, do you live here? He was like, nah, I got a house. Because if we remember, Greg purchased a home Keiarna's first season as a full-time housewife, and they moved into that home together, and when they broke up was when she moved into the condo. Gizelle walked in. Kay said she put zero effort into her outfit, the 2-piece, the crinkle wig, and the bad fascinator. Gizelle then invites everyone to Navis. Stacy was like, can we be roommates again? And Keiarna completely ignored her and moved that conversation along. So they sit down to eat. And Wendy comes in, and everybody's like, Wendy, how are you here at this event, but you're also hosting the event today? And Kay was like, Wendy likes to be first, better, best. And Wendy was like, how I get in it? How did this moment become about me? And it's interesting because it's so easy now to poke holes in things that Wendy has said, considering all of the fraud allegations that have happened. But Wendy has always presented as a person that wants to be perfect, that wants to be first, that wants to be best, that's doing it better than everyone else. And so I could get where Kay feels that way. And of course, Kay is in a more intimate setting with Wendy than any of us will ever be. So I get it. I know that there was a edit because then we jumped from that to Gizelle wanting to talk back about the chin check again. She said that, have you guys talked? Kay was like, yeah, I said it. Okay, cool. I said chin check. Angel said that it felt overly aggressive. Angel and Kay then do what friends do. They made up. Wendy was like, where is the same energy that you had in the store? And Angel was basically like, that happened 2 days ago. Am I supposed to stay mad for 2 days? Like, I went to sleep on it. I resolved the issue with my friend. We're over it. Kay was basically like, this is the last time that we're going to talk about this. I'm happy that she put her foot down in this is the last time, because it should be the last time. Like, we're tired of talking about this. Angel did turn the conversation back to Wendy and was like, I don't like it. It's been 2 days. The energy is supposed to be different in 2 days. I've slept since then. I'm cool. You need to use your emotional intelligence to know that you can feel different in one moment versus when you're able to sit down and process it. It's also kind of like when you're mad about something and then you sleep on it and you realize how really effed up this person had you. Angel just basically did that, except for the inverse. Like, she was like, Kay is my friend. I don't feel like Kay meant anything by it. I don't like it, but we're going to agree to disagree and we're going to move on, because it ain't like Kay hit her. And Kay did, in a way, check her, because she was like, hey, don't do that. Like, that's not it. So, it is what it is. Greg interrupted that moment, which was at perfect timing, and was like, y'all need to get out of here. He gave Kay some money to bet on the horses at Preakness, and then they get into the sprinter. once they get into the sprinter, Angel says that she was mad at Wendy because someone asked her was she upset. She said, "No, I wasn't upset. I was mad." Kay then tells her that this group can be very overwhelming, and I think that anyone who is new to having a camera in their face, the way that reality TV puts a camera in your face, can absolutely feel overwhelmed. Kay then tells them that she speaks very candidly and aggressively, but it always comes from a place of love. And she was like, she didn't come through and air Wendy out to everybody else. She came to Wendy with the energy that she had. And Stacey was like, "That's not how you did me." And Kay addressed Stacey. She said she was very excited when Stacey was joining the cast. And she was ready to get to know her. Stacey was like, "I can't tell because every time you had an event, you never invited me to anything." Kay was like, "Girl, I don't care. I do not care. Like, no, I don't. I'm not doing this with you. We're not doing this. Go away from me with this, Apollo." Kay then took a sip of her drink. I don't know if it was a bump or if it was a hole in her lip, but she had some, I think they were drinking champagne, and she had some spill, and she asked for a paper towel. There was no paper towels on this sprinter, and Wendy was like, "A real friend would let you use the bottom of her dress." She was like, "If my dress was cotton and Kay was my friend, I would let her use the bottom of my dress to wipe the spill on her lip." And Kay was like, "Don't do that. Do not do that." And then she said, "I'm tired of these hoes." And Stacey was like, "Oh, now I'm a hoe." Angel was like, "It's a colloquialism." Stacey said, "Oh, let me be quiet before I get chin checked." Stacey is really, granted, it is a whole era of delusion. Stacey is basically like, "Hey, y'all not gonna talk to me like that, because if you talk to me like that, I gotta come back for it." So Ashley tells Stacey that she needs to cut it out. And then we end this scene or the episode with Kay saying, "I am done with Stacey." So Kay doesn't fool with Stacey. Kay doesn't fool with Wendy. Kay talks to Gizelle for the cameras. I'm interested to see what else is happening, or how the friendship dynamics are going to shift this season. We also have Monique Samuels coming back. Again, not really excited about that. I am kind of interested to see how like Jazzy fits in, because Jazzy is Stacey's ride or die, because they came in together and they actually talk to each other, have a bond, it seems, because I think Stacey and Ashley were the only two to go to Jazzy's wedding from the photos that I saw online. Not sure if other people went and just weren't in their pictures together, but I try not to follow very many blogs and stuff, but I do get the information, or I did see that come across my feed. I think somebody I know shared it to me or something. But that's pretty much how this episode ended. My question for you guys this week is, where you're from, is chin check even something that people say? And how would you take chin check? Do you feel like chin check means that y'all got into a physical altercation, or is chin check something just as simple as, "I said what I said"? Because in the context, I mean, granted, we saw it happen and then we saw her say the chin check. For me, it just felt like a "I said what I said" situation, and you're not going to be on her side. You're my friend. But they're making it seem like it's something physical. So let me know how you guys feel about the word chin check. If you want to put where you're from, that would be great too, just so I can see if it's a colloquialism where you're from, because apparently in Maryland, chin check mean we hidden folk. And I'm like, no, not where I'm from. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and comment down below about chin check. This week, today is Wednesday. So tomorrow, Married at First Sight comes back out on Peacock. If you guys are watching, please let us know. Tommy and I are trying to figure out our schedule for recording Married at First Sight, because they are doing like 4 episode drops, and that is just almost impossible with our life schedule because we are not full-time content creators. But we're going to try to do as much as we can over the next month to get all of these episodes watched, reviewed, recorded, and uploaded. We might not be able to do the lives that we usually do with Jack and Glenn, or we might have to condense some of the lives, but we'll figure it out. We always do, except for when I get over the season. But because they're condensing this whole season to 1 month, I think by the time I'm over them, the show will be over. But we'll see you guys later on this week for Married at First Sight, for Lovers Only if you are part of our membership, as well as for Love Brew on Saturday morning. So, see you guys later. Bye.